Creative Katie, Karen Burchill here. Welcome to my channel. Today we have another mixed media door hanger, but don't worry, you can do the exact same composition and project on an art journal page of your size. This would work well for 5x7 up to 8x10. So I'm working on this wooden door hanger and it's been gessoed. And I'm using my darkroom door script stamp to get some script into the background. This is a favorite application of this script stamp. I use this so much. It just never gets old. I just love the effect of it. So I'm grabbing bright aqua and Prussian blue and yellow green. We've got 3 different brands of paint. Use what you have and use what works best for you. And I'm just putting out a little bit of each of the colors, and I want to spread this on kind of in patches, blending it a little bit here and there, and I want it a little bit liquidy because I am going to be doing the saran wrap or plastic wrap technique. Now, in order for this plastic wrap technique to work, you do need to gesso your page. So if you're doing this on an art journal page, gesso it. It will make a difference and it'll make the plastic wrap technique work better. Just adding a little bit of blue. I'm not interested in making this all blendy. I just want to get a little bit more liquidy here, so I'm spraying. So there's my plastic wrap, and I'm kind of crumpling it up and squishing the paint to get all those interesting and textural lines that I just love. Now this I'm going to set aside and let it dry for a while. I don't let it completely dry. You can, and it'll turn very shiny. I don't prefer that look. I prefer it to not be shiny. And so I remove it a little bit sooner while it's still wet, but it's not flowing. It's not going to run back into itself. And then I just dry it with my heat tool, as you just saw me doing. So I'm using the stencil Joyful Sunflower. It's a Crafters Workshop stencil. And I'm using the Crafters Workshop modeling paste. And I'm using a key card for my holidays to apply the modeling paste. And I find this is just the best way. I have the most success when I use the key card. And I'm just pulling that off. I put it in the corner, cleaning off the excess, and now I'm going to let this dry. But I'm loving the look. And I let it sit for a while because I was very tempted, because I liked the way the white looked, to leave it. But my first idea was to paint it yellow, have the sunflowers yellowy orangey. So I grabbed the yellow, the orange, and the deep violet, put the stencil back on top of the modeling paste, and I'm just sponging the colors on. And I'm getting them all on the same sponge. I just want this to mix and blend very naturally. And I'm getting a little bit more red and burgundy, but that's okay because I love that color combo, and I absolutely love how these colors pop. The colors that I've chosen for the sunflower, where I've ended up for the sunflower, and the background just works so well together. I'm just adding more orange, more yellow, more red, and then or magenta, and then I'm coming in with the deep violet. I wanted the background to look like sky and plants behind the sunflower. Now, the meaning of the sunflower, they say, face the sun and the shadows fall behind you. And so I took the quote, don't look back, look towards the sun. Don't look back, you're not going that way. So I wanted this door hanger, to be kind of an inspirational saying. Then I'm adding some of the Prussian blue in here. And I chose Prussian blue over black. I thought the black was going to be a little too stark. And I'm peeking to see how it's going. I love the way the Crafters Workshop modeling paste takes the paint. I've done this several times and I just love how it takes the paint. I'm just edging it a little bit, cleaning up. And I believe I'm using the Prussian blue. And you can't see right here, maybe in the close-ups you will, you can definitely see the script stamp shine through. So I'm grabbing my angle brush and I'm just going to edge this a little bit using the float technique. A very lazy man's way of doing the float technique. And then I'm using the Prussian blue and I'm shading on the modeling paste. And I'm using the blue. There's the blue in the background and it just works together. I just find it a little easier to manipulate the angle brush as opposed to a flat brush, but you can definitely do the same thing with a flat brush. And for years I did. So I wasn't happy with the center of the sunflower, so I decided it's dark. I'm putting the stencil back on, and I'm going to come in with gold for the center. And I absolutely loved how that turned out. You've got that little bit of shimmer, and with the black underneath, it just really worked together. So I'm thinning the gold paint down, and I believe I'm going to splatter here with the fan brush. I've got the gold in the center, so it makes sense to have the gold elsewhere. It's also, this is very autumn colors. And there you can see the splatters, and it kind of brings out the gold to the rest of the background. So I played off camera and got the sentiment and the arrangement that I wanted, and I took a picture of it. And I do this because sometimes I'm unsure and sometimes I move it off and I want to remember. but it was so white and it really didn't go with the background. So I'm using the walnut stain distress ink, and I'm just covering the sentiment with that, kind of antiquing it, so to speak. Now, this would have been easier to do if I had done this before I cut it apart, but it's not impossible. I've also done a wash of gold paint on that, but if you use the acrylic paint, sometimes it covers the print a little too much. I can't tell you how much fussing I did with placement of the sentiment. Am I the only one, or do you do that too? It's like, no, you know what? You had it, you figured out what you wanted, go with that. I like to do this one again and have the sunflower at the top and maybe a couple of them, and then the sentiment down at the bottom. I'm thinking that would make a pleasing composition. So I'm using gel medium to glue this down. Now it's distress ink, and that is water activated, wet activated. So I'm being very careful not to rub too much, and it really didn't activate it too much or smudge onto the background. So you can get away with it. You just have to be aware of what you're working with and maybe treat it a little bit different. I thought these door hangers would be easier to make because they're a little bit bigger than the 4x4 magnets, but I'm finding that the shape is very challenging. I'm going around this with gold. Because I've got the gold in the background and the gold in the middle of the sunflower, I just thought that would be a good combination. And I didn't really want to introduce too much black because there really isn't any black. Even the black of the sentiment is kind of pushed back a little bit by the coloring of the background there. And you can see how I've kind of stacked the sentiment on top of each other, layered them together. And you can do whatever and however you want with the sentiment. You don't have to just use them as they are. And then I'm using the fine line bottle, the gold, to go around the outside edge. Now, just a warning with the gold paint, you really do have to shake them a lot. They seem to settle more than the black and the white one that I use. So I'm absolutely loving this. I like how the colors work. I like how the sentiment's colored. Every part of this I really like. Here's close-ups of the finished product. Give me a thumbs up. Share this video and my channel with your crafty friends. Leave me a comment. If you're looking for any of the products, check out the links in the description box. Bye for now.